Let's make this beanie. So things you'll need: your yarn, your crochet hook. This one is a 6mm crochet hook. Where is it? Right there. 6mm crochet hook, and that's because this is a worsted weight size 4 yarn, so it's the corresponding hook to that yarn. You will need your measuring tape, a pair of scissors, darning needle, and about 5 or more stitch markers. We're gonna start by making a chain of about 10 inches, or you can measure from the center of your head until the tip of your nose, which is probably gonna be about 10 inches. All right. So 10 inches done, or the measurement from the crown of my head to the tip of my nose. And then we're going to go in and make half double crochets. So you're going to chain one, and just go back in. I like to work in the back hump, but you don't have to. So just go back in there, do your half double crochets. So go ahead, finish making your half double crochets, and then meet me back at the end of this row. Okay, so we have row 1 done. And for row 2, we're going to go ahead and do half double crochet in the back loop only of each stitch. So chain 1. You can chain 2 if you like to do that for half double crochet, but I like the chain 1 look. And then back loop only, half double crochet. And you're going to do that for each stitch going across. So we're going to go ahead and do half double crochets on the entire row, and I'll meet back up with you at the end of this row. Okay, so I'm done with row 2, and what we're going to do is continue to do half double crochets in the back loop only for about 21.5 to 22 inches. Alright, so now that we have our panel done, we're just going to go ahead and fold it in half, and you want to make sure your ends or your edges line up. I'm going to line my edges up, and then I'm going to go ahead and put a stitch marker in it just to make sure they don't move while I'm sewing it. So to close my seam, I like to go into the front loop only of the half of the panel that's closest to me, and then the back loop only of the half that's furthest away from me. And then I close that, right, sew that up with a single crochet. For me, this gives it a seamless look when I flip my hat right side out, but this is just a method I like. You can use whatever sewing method you like. So now that we have our seam sewn, we're going to go ahead and close the top of our hat. So that's also sewn flat, just like the seam. But what I like to do here is I like to line up my ribbing and make sure that when I flip my hat right side out, my ribs align on either side of my hat. It doesn't look crazy. How I do that is I go ahead and put my stitch markers in where the ribs will meet. And that just holds my spot. So when I'm sewing it up, the ribs aren't moving away from each other. So you can go ahead and sew the top of your hat the way you like to sew, but make sure you sew it in a straight line. Don't bunch it. Alright, so once you sew up the top of your hat, go ahead and sew in your ends, flip your hat right side out, and you're all done.